a middle-aged commoner, who was just enjoying an evening drink, suddenly finds himself reincarnated into the body of a young nobleman from a house on the verge of collapse, and must work tirelessly to save them from ruin. The anime begins with a middle-aged man opens his eyes for the first time in the body of this young noble, Liam Hamilton. As he finds himself at the dinner table of a grandly held party, he wonders where he is exactly, not understanding how he came here when he was in the middle of having an energy drink at a bar after coming back from work. He looks around and comes across a mirror, which reveals to him that he's basically a child now. The shock from this revelation makes him scream, alarming the adults, including his now father, the head of the Hamilton family. Mr. Hamilton feels greatly humiliated by Liam's childish behavior and reminds him that, even though he is just the fifth son making his existence the least significant out of the others, he is still a member of the reputable Hamilton family and must behave like a noble at all times. Liam remains silent, as he has zero clue as to who this man is and what's going on. Seeing him upset, the maid beside him assumes that he is just upset because of his father's scolding. She tries to lighten his mood, telling him that he should be glad that his father is in a good mood today. Otherwise, things could have been worse. She also mentions why Liam's father is happy apparently. Liam's father, the Count of Hamilton, just had a daughter after only having a bunch of sons, and to celebrate this joyous occasion, he has thrown this party on her birthday. As Liam slowly starts to understand that he is playing the role of the son of a noble, he assumes this is all but some weird dream. But when he goes to sleep, hoping to wake up from his dream, he finds himself waking up the next morning, still in this child's body. This makes him realize that this is not a dream but reality. Liam has no idea why this happened to him, but with no choice, he slowly starts to accept his new life and goes along with how things are going. He wears the clothes and attire of the young kid and, first things first, goes to check out the balcony to get a proper view of the Hamilton house. Upon entering the balcony, he discovers that the Hamilton house is set in the middle of acres of land, which the maid claims all belongs to the Hamiltons. While he is still figuring out how to cope and adjust to his new life, one of his older brothers calls him up to have a discussion about their sister. This guy is Bruno, the fourth son of the Hamilton family, and he has already decided how their newborn's life is going to be. He states that they must ensure that she grows up to be beautiful so that she can get married into the royal family, as that is the only way to keep their family secure. Apparently, the Hamilton family is on the brink of losing their nobility status because they haven't been able to accomplish anything significant in the past 3 generations. The current head, Liam's father, is the 3rd generation head of the house, and when he retires, someone from the 4th generation will succeed him. Bruno is sure they won't accomplish anything by then, and as a result, the Hamiltons will become commoners. That is why Bruno wants to use this blessing to the fullest and pull the family back from the brink of ruin. Bruno, a 13-year-old, is only a year older than Liam, but still acts much more mature around his younger brother. He advises Liam to start thinking about their family's future as well. Their discussion comes to a halt when their tutor enters the room and begins teaching them the fundamentals of magic. Learning that he's going to get to study magic, Liam is unable to contain his excitement and jumps from his seat, embarrassing Bruno, who is surprised by his brother's sudden excitement. Bruno tells Liam not to have his hopes up too high, as only 1 in 100 people has the natural talent for magic, making the odds seem pretty low. Regardless, Liam is determined to learn magic and pays full attention to the tutor, having never had the luxury of learning magic in his previous life as a commoner. After class, he rushes to one of the maids, demanding she show him to the library. As she escorts him there, he starts looking for magic books. After picking up a book called Novice Fire Magic, he starts reading the contents and follows the steps to cast a simple fire magic spell, igniting a flame on his index finger. The maid is impressed and congratulates the young master on being able to cast fire magic. Wanting to learn more, Liam goes to his father's office and requests some of the grimoires, the books of spells from the library. The Count shows no interest in his 5th son being busy with his work and grants him access to study books outside of the library without any questions. With his father's permission, Liam immediately gets to work, grabbing some books from the library and learning everything he can. Not long after, he learns a new fire spell called Flame Cutter. A month goes by, and Liam masters his Flame Cutter spell without the aid of the grimoire. He shows this achievement to Bruno, who can't believe that his younger brother learned this on his own in just 1 month. Being the older brother, Bruno naturally wants to be better than Liam and takes his own grimoire to see if there's some secret shortcut to learning spells. But after trying hard for a moment, Bruno realizes that their youngest brother is just super talented, with a strong affinity for magic. So, the big brother advises Liam to continue learning magic, promising him that if he continues to shine, he will be able to gain status and become famous. But that would also mean that Liam would completely outshine all of the Hamilton family, so Bruno asks if Liam is studying this hard to become the next head of the family. Liam reassures Bruno, telling him that he only wants to learn magic as a hobby, and doesn't intend to become their oldest brother, Albervit, target by eyeing the throne. Anyway, Liam soon learns all of the novice fire spells and sets his sights on the next goal, learning all of the novice ice spells. Liam's father approaches him, having heard the news that he can use magic and seeing some value in him, finally takes an interest, but the old man is skeptical and asks Liam to demonstrate his talent. Liam shows his newly learned ice magic by freezing a book. Mr. Hamilton is not impressed, asking if that's all Liam can do. Liam replies that he's just started learning ice magic. Wanting to ensure that his father doesn't underestimate him, he reveals that he mastered all of the novice fire spells in under 1 month. This time, Mr. Hamilton's reaction changes and he starts laughing, saying that the heavens have finally blessed their family. He encourages Liam to keep learning and tells him not to hesitate if he ever needs more grimoires. Seeing his father happy and supportive for the first time, Liam feels encouraged to learn more. He's about to head to the woods when one of the butlers whispers to Mr. Hamilton about some bad news. Not knowing what's going on, Liam goes to the forest and runs into a man in a white coat sitting under a tree, who asks Liam if he is one of the Hamilton sons. As Liam replies in the affirmative, the man gives up and tells Liam to go ahead and capture him. Seeing Liam utterly confused, the man tells him to forget about it, and instead asks him about his grimoire. Hearing that Liam is going to practice novice magic, the man offers to teach him a more efficient way and casts 5 different spells at once. Liam eagerly requests the man to teach him how to do it, and the man, liking the fact that Liam doesn't have the pointless pride most nobles have, agrees to show him the ropes. He teaches Liam how to simultaneously cast magic circles with both hands. As Liam manages to cast fire spells from both hands, the man then teaches him how to cast 3 magic circles at once. Liam masters this technique quickly. However, he fails to execute the spell as he still lacks the magical power. In any case, the man is more than impressed by Liam's talent and reveals that he can cast up to 16 spells at once. Unfortunately, the man is running out of time and really wants to teach Liam more magic. He gifts Liam a ring, which he claims is a magicpedia, a magical artifact that contains hundreds of grimoires worth of magic. As Liam wears the ring, hundreds of magical spells start pouring into his head, allowing him to freely learn them as he pleases. Liam instantly learns a wind attack spell, and using one of the wind attack spells, the man disappears before him, leaving him utterly confused. At that moment, the maid comes by, telling Liam how dangerous it is to be out there, and informing him that a suspicious man has snuck into the land. She hands him a book for novice summoning magic that Mr. Hamilton wanted Liam to have and then heads back on her way. That's when the mysterious man from before reappears before Liam, revealing that he simply didn't want to be seen by the maid, indicating that he might actually be dangerous. The man tells Liam that he won't be able to stay much longer and wants to teach him one last spell before leaving. He asks Liam to pick one of the spells from the summoning magic book, and Liam chooses the spell to summon a salamander, a low-level fire spirit. Following the man's instructions, Liam uses the ring to activate the spell. He succeeds in summoning the salamander, but it's immediately absorbed by the ring. The man explains that the ring functions like an infinite notebook, absorbing the contents of how the salamander was summoned. Realizing how incredibly valuable this ring is, Liam offers to return it to the man. But the man claims that the ring isn't that special. It merely saves its user from having to carry tons of grimoires around. Understanding this, Liam continues using the ring to learn more summoning spells from the grimoire. When he's finished experimenting, he looks around for the man's approval, only to find that the man has vanished. The only thing left behind is a message on the ground, advising Liam to keep studying magic and to never tell anyone about their interaction. Although Liam only spends an hour or 2 with the mysterious man, he comes to view him as his master and feels deeply grateful for his teachings. Another month passes and Liam masters both his attack and summoning spells. Using both, he creates a functional furnace, which he then uses to produce white charcoal. One day, Bruno visits Liam and is amazed to find that Liam has already made a considerable amount of white charcoal and collected a bag filled with lecro crystals used to recover magical power. Liam explains that he created the crystals himself using 5 types of magic simultaneously, showcasing his impressive skills. Bruno is proud of his younger brother's progress. Assuming that Liam will do well on his own, Bruno announces that he plans to marry into a low-ranking noble family to gain some independence. He explains the necessity of independence by recounting a piece of their family's history. He reveals that in desperation to save the family, their father sent a large number of soldiers to fight a sealed monster in distant lands. However, the campaign ended in a crushing defeat, with only a handful of survivors returning. Despite this devastating loss, Mr. Hamilton and their eldest brother remain desperate to do whatever it takes to retain their noble status. Bruno believes that they may eventually drag Liam into their schemes, which is why he encourages Liam to also seek independence. The first step toward independence is earning money. Liam sells his white charcoal for a pouch of gold coins and uses some of the money to treat himself to a delicious bowl of ramen for lunch. Inspired by the meal, he decides to bring ramen culture to the Hamilton household. Using an ice spirit to dehydrate noodles, he creates dried noodles and teaches the family chef how to prepare them. Convinced that selling instant noodles could become a profitable business, Liam presents his idea to a local trader. However, the trader refuses to purchase the product, explaining that only the Hamilton family's eldest son, Albervit, has the authority to conduct business on behalf of the family. As Liam leaves the shop frustrated, Albervit steps out from a room in the back, revealing that he has been keeping a close eye on Liam. Jealous of his youngest brother's growing talents, Albervit declares that he will no longer allow Liam to act freely. Liam returns home undeterred and remains motivated to pursue his business ambitions. For now, he stores all of his created items in a dimensional storage system he crafted using a spell learned from the ring. Determined to continue his work unnoticed, Liam uses an unconventional summoning spell to create a clone of himself. He plans to leave this duplicate at the Hamilton mansion to maintain appearances while he ventures out alone to the far lands to sell his goods. Liam arrives at the Hunters Guild after being advised to go there by his eldest brother, Albervit. On getting there, he acknowledges that the place looks like he had heard. Walking in, he attracts the inquiry glares of the other hunters who wonder what a little kid is doing in the guild. One of them even teased him about coming here to run errands for his mummy. Focused, he ignores the old dummies and walks straight to a fierce-looking man, and he figures would be the guild master. When he seeks to know if the man is the guild master, he immediately recognizes him as Liam Hamilton. He also acknowledges that Albervit has informed him about Liam's arrival. Before he goes any further, he suggests giving Liam a test. He states that this is necessary to avoid placing him in a class that would be way beyond his abilities. Hearing this, Liam has no issues with it. To kick off the test, the guildmaster instructs him to cast an attack spell that he finds easy. He even states that Liam can speak his incantation slowly, but Liam has completely no idea what the need of incantation is. This sounds very funny to the guildmaster, but he soon realizes what Liam meant. Going further, he asks Liam to attack him while being prepared to launch an attack. Liam figures that he can't help using his full strength, since this is the determining factor for his class placement. Without wasting much time, he fires multiple blasts around the guildmaster's head. Leaving his mouth wide open in shock, the other hunters who witness this are left speechless as to how powerful Liam's magic is. Meanwhile, the guildmaster maintains his cool and offers to place Liam in a rank B, due to how powerful he is. This leaves Liam straight-faced, giving us no clue as to whether he is happy or not. After leaving the guild, he takes a look at his B rank tag and wonders if this is good enough. While he ponders on this, a cute girl walks up to him and introduces herself as Asuna. She offers to form a party with him due to how dangerous hunting alone is. Seeing how beautiful she is, the woman-loving Liam wastes no time in accepting her offer. The two shake hands to seal the agreement and head off together. While they walk together, Liam reminds Asuna that they didn't take any hunting jobs from the guild. In response, she reveals that hunting jobs are only given to A-ranked hunters and above. On the other hand, B-ranked hunters like them are left to find dangerous monsters on their own and bring them back to the guild for a reward. While she explains this, the two are ambushed by a pack of monstrous werewolves. With nowhere to run, Asuna almost pees her pants but regains her confidence when Liam uses his magic to place self-growing monsters in the mouths of the wolves. This leaves them occupied and very exhausted, allowing Asuna to land the final blows to take them out. After taking out all the wolves, they take them to the guild. Seeing the amount of wolves they had killed, the other hunters are struck by their own incompetence. Also, the guildmaster is thrilled that the two were able to take down 42 wolves on their own. With this, he realizes just how strong they are and offers to hire them for an actual hunting job. They get asked to hunt down a large caterpillar monster before it interrupts a very important visitor scheduled to arrive at the town later that day. While Asuna is happy about the fact that they have secured their first job, Liam is more concerned about the magic stones found inside the bodies of monsters, which makes them harder to fight compared to ordinary beasts. When the two go up against the monster, they find it hard to take it down and are left exhausted. Liam tries every spell in his arsenal, but nothing seems to be working against the monster, making him feel like a common man. This leaves Asuna devastated since she expected their first job to be easy. While drowning in her disappointment, she wonders if a meteor could fall on it. This sounded like a splendid idea for Liam, who devises a plan to take the monster down for good. He uses Asuna as bait to lure the monster to a deserted place and summons his item box to unleash a large boulder on it. They end up using this technique to take down 2 caterpillar monsters and return to the guild with them. Seeing this, the guild master and the hunters are left shocked once again. He wonders how they were able to take down 2 of the monsters in such a short time. The other hunters continue to wonder how they were able to take down the monsters. Meanwhile, Asuna tries to riz the guild master into giving them a higher reward, reminding him that there could have been an issue with the important visitor if they hadn't found the second caterpillar monster. Acknowledging this, he offers to give them 5 times the original reward money. This pleases Asuna, but Liam is unbuttered about it. Later that day, everyone awaits the arrival of the important visitor. While Liam stands in wait, his elderly brother comes to commend him on his successes since joining the guild. He urges Liam to keep up the good work and leaves. Seeing him, Asuna immediately imagines that Albervit would be very rude. Liam agrees to this, since Albervit has always seen him as a nuisance. On the bright side, the important person arrives. While he walks past the large number of people greeting him, he turns his sights to Liam and Asuna, and she is starstruck by his gaze. Later that day, Liam meets up with the important guest and he introduces himself as James Stanley. When Liam introduces himself, James responds like he is familiar with Liam's father, not wanting to dwell on that. He seeks to know what Liam is doing with a ring belonging to someone he knows named Raymond. This happened to be Liam's master. At first, James tries to joke with him by suggesting that he had isekai Raymond to take the ring, but hearing Liam mention that Raymond was his master, that cools him down. The two engage in conversations about Liam's time as Raymond's student, which James finds very funny. He wishes to see just how powerful a student of Raymond would be. To figure this out, he asks an acquaintance of his to shield himself from Liam's best attack, hoping to see just how powerful he is. Normally, Liam doesn't feel the need to say incantations. However, he remembers that he had read somewhere about how saying the words can help make your spell more effective. With this in mind, he uses the names of the 3 best singers he likes as an incantation to fire magic missiles at James' acquaintance, Simon. First, it seems like Simon can hold off well, but the missiles end up breaking through his magic barrier and making him pass out. Watching this, James is very pleased at how effective Liam's powers are. He offers to give him the title of a knight to give him the chance to be independent from his family. Later that day, James makes Liam a knight like he had said. He hopes this would help him to get out from the shadow of his brothers. With the knighting done, James seeks to know more about Liam's time with Raymond. He knows Liam's master to be quite the prankster, and wishes to know if Liam has ever experienced this. Just then, Liam is reminded of the time when his master left him with 100 kilograms of gold dust as a graduation gift, after kissing them in the water and making him perfect the item box skill before being able to access it. Even though this was meant to be a gift, Raymond reveals that the mystery behind this is a graduation test for him. Hearing this, James immediately figures out that the gold is just a diversion, while the real graduation gift could be close by, but not hidden in plain sight. To figure this out, Liam heads back to the site and uses his item box to absorb all the water in the lake. Walking through the dry lake, he wonders what his master could have possibly left for him. He tries to decipher the final messages of his master, and soon comes up with the plan to extract the gold dust alone and drop it in the empty lake. After doing this, a mysterious door opens, leading him underneath the empty lake. Walking down the stairs, he finds a letter and a book. The letter reveals that the book, which happens to be a maximum level grimoire, is his actual graduation gift. Picking the book up, he figures that it holds the power to another world. Curious to know what this power holds, he is determined to practice it. For hours, he continued to practice the spells, but it yielded no favorably outcome. After multiple trials, he finally did it, and the spell revealed a huge mirror. He walks into the mirror to find an alternate space in a world different from that of the spellcaster. Also, the space would increase the more powerful he gets. Since this space could house people, making it more effective than the item box, Liam is left imagining the endless possibilities of this spell. He is incredibly thankful to his master for leaving him with something as powerful as this. A month later, Liam and Asuna are fighting against the large frog. He tries to use fire salamanders against it, but they are of no effect. Instead, it angers the frog to the point where it is about to blast them with lightning. Sensing this, Liam uses his another world powers and takes Asuna with him to protect them from the frog's attack. Eventually, the frog passes out, allowing Asuna to finish it. They take the frog's magic stone to the guild, and the guildmaster is surprised that they pulled this off, especially since it was an A-rank job, although he makes it seem like Liam did it all alone. This annoys Asuna, but she doesn't take it too personally. Instead, he wishes there was a way she could get stronger, so she can match up to Liam's strength. At that moment, the guildmaster suggests that she becomes his familiar, since this would make her powers improve in line with her master's powers. Hearing this, Asuna is thrilled. She doesn't mind becoming Liam's familiar. Even though one of the effects is that she would never be able to say no to him, she claims that she doesn't mind even if he intends to be sneaky with her. Since she had no problems with it, Liam agrees. The guildmaster performs the rituals for them by making Asuna kiss the back of Liam's hand. When she does this, she immediately becomes more powerful and possesses a unique skill that allows her to move like a speedster. Seeing how this works, Liam still has his doubts about the familiar contract making her powers improve in a short time. He intends to try it out with someone else to see if it truly works. As a solution, Asuna recommends someone she knows named Jody. When Liam makes Jody his familiar, she suddenly becomes younger and possesses the power to heal people with her cooking. Days later, James invites Liam to his mansion and informs him about the arrival of the princess, Scarlet. He praises all of Liam's achievements since arriving at the town and reveals that these have made him a person of interest to the princess. Furthermore, he reveals that the princess wishes to see his familiars and wants to watch them perform their unique abilities. Hearing this, Liam immediately declines since he feels this would be disrespectful for his familiars, who are his friends and not objects of spectacle. After he says this, James lets him go. After that, we realize that the princess is actually the maid in disguise, and having heard all that they had talked about, she believes that Liam wouldn't dare say the same to her face. Days later, Liam gets to meet Princess Scarlet and is shocked by how elegant she looks. Alighting from his chariot, he is mesmerized by the way everything is very much organized in her palace, and how beautiful she appears in her dress. She also seems very coordinated and richly adorned. He is transfixed as she locks eyes with him, and in the next minute, he is called to the palace to properly speak with her. She welcomes him to the palace, and after he says his name, she goes straight to the point. He had defeated a giant frog without high-level magic, and the new had gotten to her. Apparently that is the very first time something like that would occur. In the light of this, she commends him and does not hide her interest to learn about the magic he had used to wipe them out. High-level magic is not usual magic, and he must have something special to be able to pull such a thing off. She speaks about some of his other skills that come as a shock to him. Following this, she keeps a very straight face and asks him to show her everything, although her smirks are enough to get him intimidated. He takes his time to process things, and after giving it a critical thought, he decides to give his answer in a very wise way. Spoiler alert, he's not as wise as you think. He slowly refuses her request and bluntly waves against it. Although the princess is not shocked, she frames anger and makes it look like he had just disrespected her. And to confirm this, she asks him again if he is sure about refusing her request. Liam, on the other hand, stands firmly on his decision. He says that he will not make a spectacle of his friends. They are very good to him, and there is a level of trust they had built together. It will be inhumane to sell their secrets out. After maintaining a tense atmosphere and observing him for a while, the princess lets out a relieving laughter. She commends him for his goodwill and states that she has not seen many like him. Following this, she makes him a baron for killing a few monsters. There must be a title giveaway going on. When Liam hears this, he does not know how best to react because he is filled with immense joy and also overwhelmed. While he thinks about what to do as a baron and how to best carry the title, he thanks the princess for her compassion. Following this, she gifts him with a familiar, which is a grimoire on forming contracts with familiars. This makes him very excited that the princess laughs and teases him about being more interested in the grimoire than the title. Talk about a cluelessly stupid idiot, she also admits that she is again impressed by his brilliant nature. Later that day, he goes to study more about the gift he is given, knowing fully well that his contacts might be nullified if he lets go of the grimoire. In the middle of his meditation, his big-headed brother shows up. Liam is surprised to see Bruno out of the blues as he makes fun of their eldest brother. Everyone is aware of Albervit's nature and how much of a sadist the idiot is. Bruno specifically makes fun of him and commends their younger brother for getting the position of a baron, which is even higher than their father's status. He also teases their father by calling him miserable, and earnestly hoping that Liam surpasses him in every aspect possible. Later that night, while Liam is walking across their mansion, he bumps into Albervit, who ignores him after clearly hearing the little boy's greeting. The bastard shows to be a useless adult that bullies his brother. After walking past his brother, he begins to mutter words to himself about how he will make sure he deals with him. He calls him a mere stupid fifth son who has now become a baron. So much anger boils in his blood that he sorts to send his younger brother to hell. Things get even worse when some maidens who work in his chamber and cannot control their loose parrot mouths begin to speak of Liam and how he had become a baron at such a young age. Hearing this, Albervit almost loses his mind and further promises to crush him after intimidating the young maidens. He had walked up to the stupid maidens to tell them to move to Liam's chambers if they so much admired his exploits. Following this, he screams at them like a mad dog and forces them to admit that he is more powerful and prestigious than the little boy. On the very next day, he carries out the wicked plans he had carved out from his rotten heart rather quickly than expected. While Liam is chilling with his girls, Asuna and her friends, his eldest brother is doing something crazy to ensure his downfall. Later that evening, he goes to hunt with the girls, and on returning, he hears that his brother has done something dangerous. Albervit had intentionally removed the seal to where dangerous monsters are trapped, which has now spelt disaster over the land. A reminiscence quickly flashes through Liam's mind as he tries to remember his brother's words when he last saw him. He is aware that Albervit does not love him and would take any measure to harm him. He is alert and rushes down to the place of the incident. He is more confused when he sees that his elder brother is being tortured and the dangerous monsters are all over the place. Following this, he calls his friends as they begin to try their possible means to wipe out the crazy creatures from the environment. His friends fail at this and he quickly gets them out of the environment before they get weaker and something bad happens to them. After so much struggle, he manages to trap them temporarily with the gift the princess had given him and sends them to another world. With the implementation of this very unusual strategy, Liam defeats the junior Radons, and the guildmaster can't believe that he did all of this alone in a matter of seconds. Now the only thing remaining is to seal the actual dragon fiend again before it awakens and wreaks havoc. And thankfully, the professional mages are already there doing their job. Asuna and Jody return to their master's location. As the battle comes to an end, and Asuna wonders what type of spell Liam used to teleport the 3 junior Radons. Liam explains that the spell he used creates a separate dimension and is normally used to store items. However, Liam had previously experimented with this spell and discovered that living beings could enter it. So he came up with this idea at the last moment, and as the dragons jumped toward him, he activated the spell, trapping them inside. This also means that they are still alive and could come out again if Liam intends to release them. Thankfully, Liam hasn't fully mastered it yet, and even if he activates the spell again, he doesn't know the exact coordinates of the monsters inside the other dimension. For now, they appear to have vanished into nothing. Both Jody and Asuna can't believe how amazing and intelligent this kid is, and it makes them wonder if this kid's body is being controlled by a 40-year-old man. Nah, just kidding, they don't question it. Nobody does. Anyway, at that moment of relief, an unsettling voice speaks to all of them, demanding their attention, and they quickly realize that it's the great dragon fiend who is communicating with them. The mighty dragon opens its eyes and speaks directly to Liam, pulling him into another dimension using his superior magic. The dragon realizes that Liam is not just a regular human, as it can sense that Liam's body and soul do not match at all, calling him a puny human with an immense soul. The dragon demands an explanation from Liam, asking him who he is. Not wanting to reveal that he is a middle-aged man inside, Liam remains silent, which gives the dragon the answer it wanted. The dragon tells Liam that it understands his situation, even though it doesn't know what caused this phenomenon to happen, and expresses how much seeing Liam's usual state makes it want to see more of his life. So the dragon proposes an idea, asking Liam to take him with him for the rest of his journey in this world, promising to help him in any way possible in exchange for the experience ahead. Liam accepts the offer, because who the heck wouldn't want to be overpowered AF? Well, actually, Liam only accepts this offer because he doesn't sense any animosity from the dragon. Rather, the dragon's aura reminds Liam of his master. But whatever, with both sides sealing the deal, the dragon dives into Liam's soul, forming a contract that results in a glowing dragon mark on Liam's hand. At one glance, the guildmaster realizes that Liam has absorbed the dragon fiend, which at this point doesn't even surprise him, as he has already realized they are all just a bunch of background characters living in Liam's world. Liam senses the great dragon Radon's powers coursing through his body, making him eager to test his abilities and determine if his powers have been enhanced. When he activates a fire spell called Magic Missile, he fires 11 missiles without an incantation and without breaking a sweat, realizing that his mana has significantly increased. To test further, he chants an incantation and fires the spell again, this time producing 17 missiles with perfect control. However, Liam doesn't notice that his overwhelming mana and aura are intimidating the nearby mages, causing them to panic. The dragon Radon advises him to conceal his aura, and once he does, the mages finally calm down. Liam observes that Jody and Asuna remain unaffected by his aura, assuming it's because they are his familiars. The guildmaster is awestruck and thanks Liam for eliminating the land's greatest threat, though this technically makes Liam the new biggest threat. Undeterred, Liam summons his dimensional item box and compensates the guildmaster with 10 kilograms of gold, instructing him to distribute it among the injured, prioritizing those most affected by the chaos caused by Liam's reckless older brother. The guildmaster is overwhelmed by Liam's sense of responsibility, and wonders how much better things would be if this kind-hearted young man became the head of the Hamilton family instead of his arrogant brother, Albervit. Later that night, Liam's father, Mr. Hamilton, formally thanks him for preventing a disaster and cleaning up Albervit's mess. Liam humbly responds that he acted out of good intentions and doesn't wish for his brother to face trouble for his foolish actions. However, Mr. Hamilton reveals that he has already punished Albervit by confining him to the house, and warns that more severe consequences may follow if his behavior doesn't improve. From his earlier conversation with the guildmaster, Liam suspects that his father is considering disinheriting Albervit. Mr. Hamilton shifts the topic to brighter news, mentioning that Lord James will likely hear of Liam's deeds, potentially leading to a reward. Uninterested in rewards, Liam focuses on his passion for magic and strengthening family bonds. Before bed, he approaches Albervit's room, hoping to mend their relationship. However, he overhears Albervit's frustrated outburst. Convinced that Liam will replace him as heir, deciding it's best not to intrude, Liam walks away, wondering if he should have kept his powers a secret. That night, Liam dreams vividly of practicing new magic and awakens remembering the spells he learned by absorbing the dragon fiend. Eager to master them, he heads to the woods to practice. After hours of effort, he successfully casts summoning magic, allowing him to summon his own junior Radon, realizing its potential in battle. As he practices, Princess Scarlet appears astonished by his holy magic, yet visibly upset for reasons she doesn't disclose. Her sudden arrival flusters Liam, but she explains she came to speak with Lord Hamilton about Liam's reward. However, recognizing Liam's growing prominence, she decides to address him directly. She informs him that while she cannot grant him a title higher than Baron, she has decided to award him the Order of the Phoenix Third Class. Liam, uninterested, listens as she shifts the conversation, asking how he defeated the dragon fiend. He recounts the story without mentioning his reincarnation. Upon learning, the dragon willingly formed a contract with him, rather than being defeated. Scarlet grows serious and warns Liam to keep this a secret. The next day, the princess sends Liam's family 3,000 gold coins, which Liam realizes is to ensure his silence. Later, Count James Stanley calls Liam to his mansion to have a chat with him, and eagerly inquires if he has really learned how to use holy magic. However, Liam can't tell him that due to his promise to Princess Scarlet, and he finds himself in a pickle. James notices the concerned look on Liam's face and clarifies his intentions. Expressing first how excited he is about Liam's success, he assures him that his accomplishments are enough to keep him in the noble family. However, the only thing that makes him suspicious is that Princess Scarlet sent Liam's family the reward for defeating the dragon without consulting King His Majesty first. According to what James has heard from the onlookers, the great dragon fiend turned into a blinding light and entered Liam's body, which is why he assumes that by forming a contract with the great dragon fiend, Liam must have learned its holy magic. Liam, having already taken enough bribes from Princess Scarlet for his silence, wants to go with a lie, but not having enough brain cells to make one up, he ends up revealing the truth without any pressure at all. He admits that he has learned a few holy spells and turns around in shame immediately, apologizing to the princess in his mind for spilling the beans. James is glad that Liam told him the truth and asks him to show the spells he has learned, as that would help him understand the extent of Liam's talents. Liam accordingly uses a holy magic spell called All Clear on James, claiming that it can remove all status ailments, even states like poison and petrification. James notices the effects immediately and remarks that there's a good reason why holy magic is also known as the magic of gods. Wanting to give Liam an idea of why holy magic is considered an act of God, James tells him about the story of the War of the Three Great Dragons. In this war, during ancient times, three majestic dragons fought against each other in a constant battle for existence. One ominous night, the war suddenly ended with one dragon emerging victorious after defeating the other two. There's a legend that says the dragon was able to win because someone used holy magic in its favor. The story continues, and the victorious dragon made a human its partner. Together, they used holy magic to create a nation that Liam is now peacefully living in. Although people might think the dragon married the human and had children, James believes otherwise. He theorizes that the dragon was absorbed by the human, the same way Liam absorbed the current dragon fiend, Radon, and fused as one person. This implies that Liam is recreating the legend of their nation's founding, and that is why James is concerned not just for Liam, but for his family. If Radon is indeed one of the three great dragons who went into slumber after parting with the human it connected with, it means that the Hamilton family sealed away the nation's founder. That would strip their achievement of meaning and be enough to strip everyone in the family of their nobility. There's also the much larger problem. Because the dragon was sealed away for so many years, it is likely revengeful and plotting to take action against the nation for its ungratefulness. Although this isn't actually the case, Liam now faces the difficult task of proving that. In any case, Liam decides to recall his conversation with Radon and reassures James that the dragon isn't vengeful at all. He promises that Radon only merged with him because it was simply interested in his life. Hearing this explanation, James can only conclude that Liam is their nation's savior. In any case, James lets Liam leave, and Liam heads off to the town where he runs into Asuna and Jody, his two familiars. Asuna surprisingly grabs Liam's hand and drags him away from the crowd before they can spot him. Liam is confused, and Asuna explains that once the adventurers heard about his great achievement, they all wanted to join his adventuring party and have formally applied. She hands Liam a long list of applicants, burdening him with the responsibility of choosing the next member of their team. Guys, I'm betting my balls that the next member is either going to be a beast girl or an elf girl. Anyway, Liam returns home and learns from the maid that he has received hundreds of marriage proposals. Before he can even glance at one, his older brother Bruno arrives and insists that Liam marry the girl he has chosen for him. But before that, Bruno wants to know what feats Liam has achieved now that even the high-ranking nobles are eager to have him as part of their family. Of course, Liam cannot reveal that he absorbed the dragon due to his promise with Princess Scarlet, so he puts on his best poker face and hopes Bruno moves on. Later that day, Liam, the ladies' man, takes Asuna and Jody into the woods. He uses his otherworld spell to transport them to another dimension, where he has built a house all by himself, proudly revealing that he has mastered the spell. He shows them around the house and, to make the environment feel more natural, summons a low-level dark spirit to create darkness and simulate night. He also summons the fire spirit salamander to light the fireplace. When Jody points out that it's still too dark and the dark spirit should be able to adjust the level of darkness, Liam realizes the spirit isn't yet capable of doing so. So, he decides to level it up to a mid-level spirit and turns it into his familiar, allowing it to evolve. Now, the dark spirit can control the lighting and envelop the space with a more natural level of darkness. Using his ring, which also serves as a magic spell storage device. As we already know, Liam absorbs the dark spirit. Learning how to summon mid-level spirits, he upgrades his salamander spirit into a more evolved mid-level version. Using the same method, he upgrades his other familiars, storing their summoning spells in his ring and learning them all at once. Excited about his progress, Liam can't wait to master these spells. Magic is where his true enthusiasm lies. Due to Radon's request, Liam set out into the woods. Shortly after, he gets called by Radon to summon his child. To do this, he makes use of the summoning spell he had been practicing, and ends up summoning a younger dragon. Surprisingly, the dragon leads him to a fairy village, and he sees them having fun. Their fun is, however, short-lived when they turn around to see his ugly face. They run for their dear lives and only stop when he claims he was sent by Radon. As proof, he raises the young dragon, and when they see it, they believe what he says. Furthermore, he reveals that he was sent to protect them since they were victims of greedy humans, who hunted them for their very valuable wings. To protect them before, Radon had set up a barrier, but he now wishes Liam would continue his work. To get started, he casts a contract spell on one of them and names her Reina. This spell causes the little pixie to transform into a grown-up elf. Seeing this, the others are amazed, Even Radon had no idea that the pixies could evolve into elves. This action gets him a lecture on how naming creatures could cause them to evolve into a better form. Since the pixies had seen how much one of them had grown, they all craved the same. Without wasting much time, he goes on to name them all. After naming all the pixies, they thank him and profess their love to him. After that, they seek to know what they can do for him as his familiar. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? I know you are. However, this clueless fool instructs them to build a village for them to live in. I would have had them building babies. After giving them this pathetic instruction, he asks Reina, the first pixie he evolved, to be the village chief, and she happily accepts it. While the elves figure out how to build a house, Liam is exhausted. At that moment, he senses a magic power coming from the woods. Walking around to find it, he stumbles upon a huge tree with a glowing fruit. Reina had followed him in his search, and she lets him know that this is just a gathering of magic powers which the pixies had been gathering. Just then, the dragon instructs him to eat it, and Reina agrees to it. Without hesitation, he cuts it off from the tree and takes a large McDonald bite. This causes him to start glowing and amplifies his power significantly. He figures this out by blasting some magic missiles. Happily, he leaves the village. The next day, Liam returns to check in the progress of the elves and is disappointed to see how miserable their building skills are. Their pathetic attempt at a house turned to be a shabby gathering of woods and leaves. In their defense, they didn't go for any engineering class. While Liam ponders on this horrible structure, they hear a loud scream coming from a distance. Rushing there, it turns out to be some ugly bandits who have just captured one of the elves. When they see Liam, they assume he is just a little boy. Can't blame them, though. One of them charges at him, but he blasts the idiot away with his magic missiles. After that, the others come charging at him, and he summons his duplicate, who joins him to blast the rest to their origins. Watching this showdown leaves the elves thrilled. Meanwhile, Liam is worried that the area is not safe for the elves. He uses his another world spell to have a view of the other world through the mirror. At first he thought it wouldn't be big enough for the elves, but it turned out to be even bigger than he expected due to the magic power fruit he ate earlier. Upon realizing this, he urges them elves to go inside while he transports them to somewhere safe. When the elves find themselves at a new location, they are shocked at how fast they got here. He reveals that he brought them to his land so that they would be safe from bandits. This action of kindness causes them all to bow on their knees, pleading that he becomes their leader, even though they suggested he become their king. He chooses to be a leader since he had no balls to be called king. Later on, he feeds them with some ramen while he practices the new high-level holy magic Radon had given him. He had been trying this for 4 days, and after a short while he finally got it. To try it out, he thinks about where he wants to go and places his duplicate there. After that, he gathers the girls and uses the spell to transport all of them at once. In the blink of an eye, they arrive at their destination. This happened to be a place called the Sealed Lands. While the girls admire the land, Liam continues to blurt about how he wishes to perfect this spell, so he can teleport anywhere he wants. Just then, he steps forward and stretches his hand to break the spell on the land, revealing a more appealing view. This makes the elves very pleased. However, before the elves could live here, they had to settle the issue of water. To do this, Liam summons a wind spirit and asks her for help in finding a water source. Immediately, he uses her powers to locate a very suitable source, and he thanks her for this, with the accommodation crisis of the girls gradually coming to an end. Liam spends his time training in the woods to shorten the casting time for his teleport spell. After numerous trials, he finally achieves this and is so excited. Later on, he gets set to leave the village and places the young dragons to take care of the girls while he is away. After that, he teleports to the palace of the princess, who seeks to know if the dragon has told him anything about a promised land. He disputes this but claims that he only knows about a sealed land, which the princess asks to be shown. Later that day he takes her there and she is thrilled at the sight of it, believing that this could indeed be the promised land. To prove this, she brings out a ring, and when Liam touches it, the land begins to float. The mere sight of this leaves her astonished. In a shocking turn of events, she bows to Liam, referring to him as the master of the promised land. She states that she hopes he would let her join him in building a new nation on this promised land. All of this seems like a dream to Liam, but he soon comes to the conclusion that his responsibilities are just getting started. And with that, we have come to the end of this part. Stay tuned for next part. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell to receive all the latest updates.